Hello and welcome to pmclounge.com. So today I'm excited to have Ambrish back with us. Last time we were talking about ACP, but today we will be focusing on a fairly new PMI certification that is called Project Management Office Certified Professional or PMOCP. Congratulations, Ambrish, on this milestone. You recently got this certification. And thank you for taking the time out today and joining us.
Thank you so much, sir. Thanks for having me here again. As I was saying, it's always a pleasure connecting with you and to the wider audience of your forum and all the project management enthusiasts. So, always a pleasure and a learning experience and an enriching experience. So, thanks for having me again.
Great, great. So, in our discussion today, we will cover the process of, and some practical advice for getting this PMOCP certification, what this is, because as I said, this is fairly new. So, definitely stay us with it till the end if you're eager to learn more about this certification. And let's dive in. My first question, Ambrish, to you would be how certifications and specifically PMI certifications, they are a lot of work. So, what was the motivation behind pursuing this PMOCP certification? And for those of you who might not know, Ambrish already has PMP and other PMI certifications under his belt. So, this is just one more feather in the cap. What was the motivation behind it? And as I said, it's a lot of hard work, especially PMI certifications.
No, absolutely, and because it is a lot of hard work and there's a lot of passion that goes behind it. I think it kind of drives the engine to if you have earned one, you just keep pushing yourself to earn another one. Uh, for I would say the sheer love of project management and the universe of knowledge that project management brings in, which is something which you do not just use in your professional setting. You can learn a lot of things and imbibe a lot of things in your day to day life as well, just to make yourself more structured and more productive, more efficient. So yeah, uh, these are some of the thoughts that drives me in learning and getting the certification is more of a, I would say it's a byproduct.
Mhm.
The main driver is the knowledge that each of these book of knowledge is bringing, which are an essential part of getting in certification. So yep, I would say that remains same, and as you just pointed out, I think this is my sixth, no, maybe
Oh.
fifth PMI certification, and there are six more to go. But let's see how it goes from here.
Awesome, awesome. And I really, really love it when I speak to someone like Ambrish who has I'd say fire in the belly to get more knowledge, right? Whatever that's out there, being able to consume it because they are driven by passion towards getting more knowledge around project management. That's what makes a passionate project manager, to be honest. Now, this certification is fairly new, as I mentioned, and so we would like to know more about uh, this certification. But in addition to that, we will also like to know, like, how would you differentiate, to begin with, how would you differentiate this certification from other project management certification? Let's talk about PMP because our core audience is either PMP certified or PMP aspirants, right? So two questions. Tell us what the focus of this certification is, which it looks like it is PMO, and how it is different from something like, let's say, a PMP.
Right. So that's a great question, actually, and a lot of people, I'm sure, would have that question in their mind: that how is this different?
Mhm.
Uh, PNP, as we all know, the gold standard of the offerings that PMI has, is about getting to assess somebody on the skill sets and the book of knowledge for becoming a project manager. So if you have a set of knowledge and set of if you're mastering a set of tools that helps you manage a project, that's what is PMP. And it is very, very project focused. So you can be working in a productized organization, or you can be working as a non-productized organization. It could be a consulting firm that deals with projects, or it could be a normal any other non-consulting business which takes up projects in whatever frequencies. So for all of those scenarios, you would need somebody, you would need to structure the entire stakeholder into a cohesive unit and drive that entire initiative, which is defined as a project in the PMI's language. And the person who is skilled to do that, who has the knowledge of the tool sets to do that efficiently, is a project manager, whether certified or not.
Mhm.
And that's the whole focus of the PAP certification. Now, for all those who are either aspirants or who have undergone the rigmarole of getting the PMP certification, would to remember very clearly that there is a small portion of something called PMO, and you might have encountered a couple of questions in your exam as to what is a PMO or something related to the PMO. But the kind of weightage and the kind of paper space given in the entire book of knowledge on something as important as PMO is quite insignificant when it is compared to the other skill sets and other areas of focus that is there for project management, and which is, I would say, in a way justified and rightly so. But having said that, the importance that a PMO should be getting, uh, or at least what people should know about the PMO outside of the very very vague and very very I would say high level knowledge of PMO could be a body which, one, for all project managers, it is the custodian of all the project knowledge and the knowledge documentation, and at times it could help in managing some resources, and at times it could also do some support function for the project. So that's the kind
Mhm.
of idea that a PMP certification book of knowledge would give to any project managers.
Right.
But we know that it is far from true. A PMO does a lot of work that is much more than what is being mentioned over here, and very rarely is being recognized for the hard work that goes in,
Mhm.
uh, that the PMO puts in, because it is always at the back of the whole thing. It does serve as a support base, it does serve as a support function, but it extends a very, very critical support for the entire project to be successful and for the entire project to run as smoothly as possible. So I think, coming back to how this certification helps, uh, recognizing the importance of a function or a body or an entity or an organization as important as PMO,
Mhm.
it was just about time that it was given its due credit.
Right.
It was explained in a way that kind of gives much more details about the structure, functioning, the goods and the bads of what a PMO stands for, or what a PMO should stand for. Now, PMI does or did have a book of knowledge covering the guide to PMOs, which is also one of the books which is given
Mhm.
as a recommended, literature for studying for this exam as well. Uh, but PMI never had any certification around
Right.
PMO.
Mhm.
Uh, I think this whole idea of a certification around PMO started as a project by PMI, led by a gentleman named Mr. Amerigo Pinto. I'm sure a lot of your listeners would know him. He's been a champion of PMI since, I think, early 2000 or maybe 2001.
Yep.
Uh, so how this whole thing unraveled, or how this whole thing kind of uh, rolled out, was that they thought, let's get a community-based knowledge in terms of building the POK, which was something very new for PMI.
Mhm.
PMI never worked in that fashion in building its POK. Uh, it used to, and it is still building its POKs on a very very regulated academic approach.
Right. Right.
Uh, Not getting into the details of that because that would be digressing. So what they did was they gathered around close to maybe 600 to 700 champions, project managers, senior project professionals, and tried to get their perspective of what a PMO should be or what a PMO should look like.
Mhm.
That was the genesis of this own PMO certification. And uh, they started this certification not as an offering directly from PMI, but as an offering from another sister entity of PMI called PMOGA, which is Project Management Officer Global Alliance,
Mhm.
uh, which which is the organization where Mr. Americo Pinto is driving or leading that organization.
Okay.
So they started certification as a as a project offering. Uh, I think sometime in September or August last year. So it is as recent as this.
Mhm.
And the kind of response that they received uh, by this, I mean, by rolling out this certification was unprecedented.
Mhm.
Uh, and that kind of proved one of their hypotheses that out there in the project management professionals world, there is a very big gap of understanding and getting more details about an organization called PMO and in getting assessed and certified as a PMO professional.
Right. Mhm.
Because as the project management professionals mature and tenure and they grow in the organization, what they are essentially doing is managing a PMO.
Mhm. Right.
Now, you call it by any other name, and there are n number of names given to this organization. It could be a project office, program office, portfolio
Okay.
office, CFO, vendor management office.
Right.
Had all hues and colors of names given to it, but that essentially was people were doing. So when
Mhm.
they got this opportunity to go through this uh, material and get assessed, all of the, I mean, a huge population of professionals who were already project managers or program managers, uh, they got through it, they got assessed and got certified.
Perfect.
So as recent as 4th of Feb is when PMI officially adopted this certification.
Mhm.
And for any aspirant today, as we speak, Shoaib, whoever is wanting to get this certification would, like any other PMI certification, have to go through the same process,
Mhm.
and the credentials are exactly the same as to any other PMI credential.
Since you mentioned it, let's actually talk about the process and what exactly is required to, for the aspirants to go through. So we can touch about what is the eligibility criteria, how is the application for this certification look like, what are the training requirements, any PDU or contact hours required. You did mention that there is a separate body of knowledge for PMO now,
Yeah.
which can be referred to, I'm assuming, for this exam as well. So, what exactly is the study material? How is the overall exam prep like? Let's start off with the eligibility criteria to begin with.
Perfect. So the eligibility criteria is very simple. You will either have to have 3+ years of experience in a PMO,
Mhm.
or you need to have a PhD certification in good standing.
Okay. So
So either
if you have PMP, you basically, if you have PMP, you already have the
you
experience
qualify
in
for
the
the
yeah.
exam. As
Okay.
simple as that. You have PMP in good standing, you qualify for the exam.
Mm-hmm.
Else, you need to demonstrate that you have 3+ years of project management office experience, PMO
Got it.
experience.
PM experience. Mm-hmm.
Uh, Again, and as I would have spoken to you earlier, also to become a, let's say, PGMP, you don't need a PMP, or to
Mm-hmm.
become a
Yeah.
PFMP, you don't need either of them.
Yeah.
But it has been observed that there's a very minuscule percentage of people who would go directly to a PFMP or a PGMP
Absolutely.
without
Mm.
MP. And I would, for the absence of any other credible data that I have, I would use the same assumption here. So I am assuming that a lot of the aspirants who are going to go ahead with this certification are either PMPs or PGMPs in good standing.
Absolutely. Yep. Agree. And then how was the application like? I mean, are there any additional eligibility criteria as well?
No, so that's the only eligibility criteria.
Mm.
And either a 3 years plus of demonstrated PMO experience or a PFP in good standing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the exam which has 120 questions.
Okay.
Uh, the question pattern is exactly the same like any other PMI
PMI
exam.
exams. Mm.
It's all MCQs. There is no negative marking. There is only one correct answer for one question,
Mm.
and all questions are scenario based questions. You will not find a question which is a direct fill up the blanks kind of
Yeah.
an MCQ.
Yeah. Right.
So
Right out of the textbook.
yes, so you need to understand the concept, you need
Hmm.
to assess the question, what exactly it is trying to ask, and then based on the options given, you have to come up with the most suitable answer to the scenario given in the question.
Okay. Got it.
Uh, the time is 165 minutes
Oh,
for
okay.
this for this question, and I think at present PMI is offering this test in 4 languages.
Hmm.
Uh, so I think there is Spanish, there is English, uh, French, and German,
Okay.
uh,
Okay.
or either German or Brazilian, one of them.
Hmm. And
Again,
what
given
are,
the fact, yeah,
yeah, go ahead.
no, no, given the fact that, as I said, only 4th of Feb is when this got officially adopted
Mm.
by PMI. This language set is still evolving, so maybe a couple of months down the line, it would match up with the 13 or 14 language set that it offers for the other exams.
Perfect. Perfect. And then, are there any training requirements specifically for contact hours or PDUs?
Yes.
Okay.
So while this is the qualification that you need to have in terms of being eligible for this exam, uh, you also need to have a 10 hours of PMO education or PDUs
Mm-hmm.
essentially. Uh, Now there's a e-learning course which is on offer by PMI,
Mm-hmm.
which is a 10-hour course,
Okay.
and anybody who goes ahead and attends that e-learning course uh, suffices the requirement of the 10 hours of PDU that is needed for this particular exam.
Perfect.
Uh, it is important to go through that 10 hours of education because that is the most relevant book of knowledge that is available to cover what should be studied as a part of this exam.
Great.
PMI, uh, I would say, slightly has evolved from its uh, earlier standard of not really telling you what to study or what not to study.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Here for this particular exam, PMI kind of you know it kind of underlines the fact that please forget any other knowledge that you have or any other
Hmm.
terminology that you have for PMO. Please
Hmm.
understand what is the concept and the principle that is being developed for PMOCP.
Hmm.
And once people go through this, they will understand why this this underlining of this particular concept is essential because they would like us to unlearn a lot of the terminologies that we were using,
Right.
uh, and and start with a fresh mind as to what a PMO should look like.
Okay.
Uh, and the only spoiler that I would like to give here, sir, is that at the end of the whole thing, you will understand that you don't need to call a PMO by a PMO. You can call it by any other name. It's the work that it does and the service that it gives that is more
Yeah, the
other
function
than.
matters. Okay, perfect. And then you also touched upon the body of knowledge that they have. Is it called PMOBOK?
So there is a there are actually three different things that one can study. There's obviously the gold standard PMBOK.
Hmm.
I think this uh, version 7 now.
Yeah,
Uh,
7. 8
yeah,
is going
which
to be coming out later this year, but right now
yes,
we are on 7.
right.
Hmm.
So that's always there.
Hmm.
But that the disclaimer over there is that the uh, definition and the scope of what is covered as PMO in that book is pretty less, although
Yep.
the concept is there, but that's about it. Then there is another book which is there from PMI, which is called the Project Management Office Practitioner's Guide or a
Okay,
Practice
practice.
Guide.
Okay, okay.
Yes. Uh, but it is the e-learning which PMI has come up this 10 hours of e-learning, which is the most important body of knowledge that one needs to
Hmm.
uh, refer to for this exam.
Okay. One thing though about this certification, and this was something that I was discussing with one of our community members, was that there are a lot of organizations out there that have PMOs, and then within these PMOs, they have sort of people with lesser experience hired as, PMO coordinators and, assistant project managers, just to be able to sort of help with the governance, maybe take care of certain templates, improve processes and stuff like that. Do you think this certification is a good starting point with someone who has 3 or 4 years of experience, want to get into project management? Can they look up to this certification?
Absolutely. If somebody has been working in a PMO in
Mm,
whatever role, and if that person feels that that role has been limited to coordinating and giving governance support to the projects or the project that are in play in their organization, I think this certificate is the most relevant and the most fitting certificate, both from the point of them understanding what a PMO should be doing and then find the gap if their PMO is not covering those services and not living up to those functions. That is number one. And number two, even from a personal career growth, if somebody has to grow in a PMO kind of an environment,
mm.
uh, this is the only certificate which is available till date
Yeah.
in the market, which gives you some credential of PMO, profession. So absolutely, a capital yes to your question.
Agile has this concept of self-organizing teams, right? Wherein we empower teams and give them the power to act the way they want to. Uh, and then we have PMO, which sort of tries to govern how projects are being managed in the organization, right? Do you think there's a contrast between these two? Do you think PMO might be adding a bureaucratic layer that potentially slows things down in a fast paced agile environment? What do you have to say to that?
That's an interesting one. uh, when one would go through this particular course, they will understand that the entire course is based on one and only one simple principle, that anything and everything that the PMO does should be and must be measured
Mm,
against the target. It has to be quantified, and that quantification is the value that they need to bring on the table when they are speaking with the organization heads or the strategists or whoever.
mhm,
Now, in doing that, they have very conveniently, and I would say rightly so, have completely gone in a different path and have not uttered agile for
mm.
even one single time.
Awesome.
What they're trying to do is they're trying, and again, sure, I think one of the things I found different about this course is this is a course which appears to be very close and very grounded to reality of what really happens in any organization,
Mm, mm,
right? And there are a couple of podcasts and videos of Mr. Americo which is available, and he very subtly, but in very clear terms, puts this forward that PMOs fail more often than not. You hardly have a PMO which is a stellar organization in any organization around the world. I mean, people talk about having a great IT sub organization within the organization, or their finance team is very strong, or their legal team is very strong, but nobody really talks about a strong PMO.
yeah. Mm, agree.
And also the fact that if if any organization comes across difficult times, the first state that comes to their mind who they think can be easily let go is the PMO, if they have
Mm,
a PMO.
mm,
The reason behind that is PMO has not done the due diligence and not gone that extra mile in demonstrating, uh, even before demonstrating, in making them understand that what is the kind of value that they should bring in, and also demonstrating that yes, they are bringing that value.
mm,
This training is a very, very modular approach in doing exactly that.
mm,
They have come up with sets of 40 things that a PMO should be doing,
mm,
and this is an evolving book of knowledge that 40
mm,
can become 400 tomorrow, but they have I think with a lot of research and a lot of hard work has gone to make it crisp to 40.
It's a
Now,
good starting point.
yes, out of 40, it's an organization's wish and will to choose and select that what are the things it wants from its PMO.
Mhm.
And once they choose that, the PMO, this training also gives a very clear and objective roadmap of how, out of 40, let's say an organization says that I want my PMO who can do these 10 things, who can deliver these 10 things. It is the PMO's job, and this training will teach anyone who goes through it how they transform those 10 things into measurable, actionable deliverables
Mm.
with timelines, with roles, which will say at the end of whatever period frequency that we take 6 months, a year, 2 years, that this is the kind of value that the PMO has brought in terms of delivering those 10 things. So it's a very, very beautiful, objective way of uh, you know making it as clear as possible for all stakeholders involved. And that, I think, is one of the reasons why we don't talk about agile or waterfall. That is what a project
Yeah.
should be approached with.
Mm.
But in whichever way you approach a project, your PMO will help you deliver these four, five, seven things.
Love that. Love that. Love that. And I think you really got me excited in uh, going ahead and downloading the latest practice guide of PMO and going over the content there for sure. Because if you are able to convey the kind of value that PMO provides, I think that's a great starting point for anyone looking to sort of starting off as a career in PMO or even trying to improve on their skills. Now, before I let you go, Ambrish, any final practical tips or advice that you would like to offer to the professionals who are considering the PMOCP certification?
Absolutely, the same tip or the same, my two pencils of suggestions to anyone who's aspiring for any PMI certification in general and this one in particular. Please go through the study material, the 10 hour of study material that is there, as many number of times as possible. Uh, Try to, visualize that. Try to write down the important concepts and visualize the content of the study material in terms of mind maps or whatever catches your brain fast, and you're able to retain. So do that. uh, I would suggest at least 5 times. That's a it's not a very heavy material
Mm.
in terms of number of pages. So please go through that 5 times and try to understand the concept again, like any other PMI. Be okay,
Mm.
and that should put you in a good position to crack the exam.
Mm.
This is again, I think this can be attempted either in a proctored environment or in PMI authorized centers. So
Okay.
you can take it as to how you would like to apply for it. And I don't think there are, if you're doing a proctored one, uh, I think there are spaces and available slots there. So yes,
Mm.
maybe a 1 month's preparation time should be
Mm.
good enough, put you in good stead to go ahead and crack the exam.
Love that. Love that. All right. Thank you so much, Ambrish. Really appreciate you taking the time out. And I'm pretty sure there will be a lot of interest around this new certification. So I'm pretty sure a lot of our community members are going to find this video very, very helpful. So thank you again for taking the time out.
Pleasure, always a pleasure, sir. You have a great day ahead, and wish everyone out there a great day and a great career ahead.